Hello, and welcome to another episode of Mad Scientist Brewing Beer Education Series. This weekend is the unofficial start of summer, so I thought we would do a style video on a nice summery beer that you don't get to see very often called a cream ale, which, despite its name, does not have any cream or dairy in it whatsoever. It's also a bit hard to find, but I like it, so I brewed some. So we're going to be talking about it, and I'm going to drink some of my cream ale here. So cheers. This is actually not very much to style, so probably a poor representation of a cream ale to drink for this, but I brewed it originally for my friend's wedding a few years ago, and I have since decided to brew it again this year to drink for the summertime. So let's talk about some of the vital statistics for cream ale. All right, so this is going to have an ABV range of 4.2 to 5.6% alcohol, which is pretty much normal level. It'll have an original gravity of 1.042 to 1.055, which is 10.5 to 13.6 degrees Plato. It'll have a final gravity of 1.006 to 1.012, or 1.5 to 3.1 degrees Plato. It'll have an IBU of 8 to 20, which is low on the perceived bitterness scale, and an SRM of 2 to 5, which will give it somewhere from a straw to a light gold color. All right, appearance-wise for this beer, it's going to be pale straw to light golden color, although usually on the paler side. It'll have a low to medium head with medium to high carbonation. It should have fair head retention and be effervescent, and with brilliant sparkling clarity. Now, you probably can't see as well on the video here, but mine is actually not very brilliant. You can still read through it, but when I made this, it was based off a recipe for a cream ale made out in California, whose name escapes me now, unfortunately. But the recipe includes wheat and oats, so that added quite a bit of haze, which I'm actually surprised at how clear it ends up coming out as a result of that. I will mention in the ingredients section a little further down here that those are not actually typical ingredients. Let's see, for aroma, it's going to have medium to medium-low malt notes with a sweet and corn-like aroma. Low dimethyl sulfide, or DMS, is optional. Medium-low hop aroma is also optional, using any variety, but floral, spicy, or herbal notes are most common. Overall, it's going to have a subtle and balanced aroma to it. Flavor-wise, it's a low to medium-low hop bitterness and a low to moderate malty sweetness, varying with gravity and attenuation. The malt flavor is generally neutral, but can be possibly grainy or cracker-like. It'll have a balanced palate with only enough hops to support the malt. A low to moderate corny flavor is common, and finish can vary from light, dry, and crisp to faintly sweet. A clean fermentation profile is typical, but fruity esters are optional. Low to medium-low hop flavor of any variety is found, but it would be typically floral, herbal, or spicy, like with the aroma. Lastly, for mouthfeel, it's generally light and crisp, but the body can reach medium. It has a smooth mouthfeel with medium to high attenuation and a high carbonation. Looking into the characteristic ingredients, you notice I mentioned corn quite a lot in the flavor and aroma there. This is one of the original American styles, actually was created here in the US, so like many of the US styles includes adjuncts, particularly corn. So it was made with American 6-row malt, or a combination of 6-row malt and 2-row malt, with up to 20% corn in the mash and up to 20% sugar in the boil, which helps give it a lighter body. Any variety of hops could be used, but most often rustic American or continental hops. It'll have a clean ale yeast or a mix of ale and lager yeast. Looking at the history of this, it's a rather sparkling ale that originated in the second half of the 1800s in the US, and unlike a lot of styles, it survived Prohibition, although it is not terribly common anymore. It was originally brewed to compete with lagers that were brewed in Canada and the US Northeast, Mid-Atlantic, and Midwest states. Particularly, this was more common in the Mid-Atlantic states, but again, nowadays you don't really find too many examples of it. Generally, mass market lagers or other lagers have kind of outcompeted it. But you could think of it as sort of a light equivalent ale version of an American lager, but with some more flavor. Uh, Speaking of which, that's the next section, style comparison. So it is similar to the standard American lager, but with a bit more character that comes from a touch more hopping or the use of the ale yeast, which can give it some esters as well. It's got a lighter body and is smoother and more carbonated than a blonde ale, and it seems like a more somewhat subtle version of the German Kolsch style. All right, some commercial examples. Genesee Cream Ale, Kiwanda Prohibition Cream Ale, and Sun King Sunlight Cream Ale are all examples. But again, it's not one you see too often, so you may be out of luck, unfortunately, trying to find one, unless you happen to be in one of the places that will commonly brew these, like with Sun King. But unfortunately, yeah, it's kind of tough to come by. So if you find one, it's worth getting a chance. But I would say, flavor and balance wise, it's not that different from drinking an American lager, but a little better. And it's got nice balance to it. It's a great lawnmower beer, and what I will plan to enjoy drinking the summer as long as I have it. I probably have 4.5 gallons left in my keg. So that covers the cream ale style. If you can find some, give it a try. And until next time, cheers.